a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Okay, this will be an inspiration. Grateful, this is my book, my Bible. Grateful Living Practice, that is the title. Choose one person each day this week to thank for something ordinary or extraordinary. Acknowledge kindness, commend generosity, appreciate honesty. Notice the difference expressing gratitude can make. I thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I am grateful that you were able to give us that club and give us some inspiration. And we always, my apologies, we always gain a lot from Ellie's wisdom.
How sweet.
And I know she's going to give us great wisdom as she becomes the Toastmaster of the day. But since we do not have any guests to introduce, I'll just go ahead and give
it back to me.
Right back there.
Hot potato.
Hot potato.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's a great honor and privilege to be your Toastmaster for today. I can't remember when was the last time I was a Toastmaster, but and thank you also for those Toastmasters or members that, did you see my voluntold list? I really appreciate you accepting all of those positions. But let me start first with the who's gonna be Toastmaster. Okay, the act counter will be Jim, make a note, okay? Timer will be Helen. Tell me if I'm going too fast, okay?
Okay.
Vote counter is the same, William. Grammarian is Helen.
Yang.
Yang, okay. What else? General evaluator will be Joy.
Thank you.
Evaluator 1 for Owen is Kelly. Our supporting roles.
I'm sorry,
Yes, William.
timer is who?
Oh, timer is Helen.
And
Yang.
Helen Yang and is timer and she's timer and grammarian.
Yeah, she's right.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Your job description, okay? Accountant, Jim.
Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, audacious fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I was thinking about this today when I was doing this, and my thought was I get to be very Machiavellian tonight. I'm not actually.
Yep.
I actually think this is one of the best things about Toastmasters is getting our counts for our ahs and our ums. And my purpose is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or a pause filler for anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. That's one of my personal favorites, by the way, as you know. I will listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jim. Helen, timer. Okay.
Yang.
And then I was so, I was daring at that time, and I came as a teacher, but I didn't teach at all. I went into banking, and then I retired 51 years from 4 different banks.
Wow.
And I'm courageous. That's all. Now let's go to our table topics session. Rick, you're the table topic master. Yes, sir.
You got a special box too.
Well, everybody brought a container every time I was here.
Oh, I know. That's good.
I love it.
Just gonna pass out cigars?
It's gonna feel like victory. It's just like Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me a second while I open the cigar box. So the idea behind today's table topics is that none of you guys have actually experienced life. You rely on your senses in order to create a simulation of life based on the data that you get from those senses. And so today the questions are going to make you evaluate those senses a little bit more closely.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
That
Wow.
is exciting invitation there.
Let me sleep a little.
Can you get us the recto or?
Joy, since you volunteered me, I'm going to volunteer you.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic. Certain person in your life. What do you think it is about the taste that ties you to that memory? Can you describe the flavors? Yes, I can describe the flavors. Starting off with a filler word there. In November is a very important and special time for me because it's my mother's birthday. In fact, her birthday is going to be on the 20th. And my mother is truly my heart. If you've listened to my icebreaker speech, her name is Corazon, which in Spanish means heart. So she is my heart. And one of the best foods and food memories that I have is her arroz caldo, which means hot rice. It's a beautiful rice dish. It's similar to the Chinese version of congee. But the Filipino version to me just expresses everything there is. It's just like loving comfort food. It's like a hug in a bowl. So it's rice porridge with ginger chicken, and there's like little ginger bits. And I feel like it's like a kid in a candy store. My mother would make it with homemade chicken broth, and she would cook the chicken all day so the chicken would have that delicious, beautiful chicken flavor. The rice would be cooked in it. There would be a little bit of saffron, so it had this golden color. And it had my favorite pieces of chicken, which are chicken drumstick and chicken thigh. So it's really the beautiful dark meat, so it's delicious and unctuous. And then she would put all these toppings on it. So besides the porridge with the chicken and the ginger and that homemade broth, she would garnish it with like food sprinkles. There would be green onion, there would be toasted garlic, there would be a little bit of pepper, there would be a squeeze of this beautiful Southeast Asian lime called calamansi, which we grow in our backyard. It's a crossbreed, it's a sweet lime. I just put that on there. And to top it off, because pork is my love language, and you know that, a little bit of chicharron. So that to me is food or drink. When I taste it, reminds me of Corazon, Cunanan de los Santos, which is my mother. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm hungry now.
I'm hungry now. We got some food.
For the next person, Ellie, do you want to come up?
Yeah, supposed to be calling Toastmaster.
We're an equal opportunity for people.
Okay. Scene, person or object that instantly made you feel a certain emotion. What do you think it was about that visual experience that triggered such a strong feeling? Who do you think? Who can guess? Who is this special person?
Your daughter.
Elvis Presley.
Amen! Hallelujah!
I thought you were talking about me at first.
Would you believe, that's one of the reasons why I came to the United States. I didn't tell my mother. I said, I'm going to the United States because I'm going to be teaching there. But really my intention is to see Elvis in person. So I worked at Bank of America, earning probably $250 a month. And we had friends that we went to, it's not the same anymore. They changed the name.
Graceland?
But I tell you, I was so in love with him. Even now, even his daddy died, okay? You could see my house is all Elvis Presley and the whole thing. But I said, I don't care if I spend, because we had to give some money to the people there so we can be seated really, really close to the audience. And so we were able to sit, like, say, second, it's just right here, right there, Elvis. And he was thin yet at that time, okay? As compared with the last going to Hawaii, he's bad. But he's really my idol, even now, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Certain feeling like the warmth of the sun or coolness of rain gave you a deep sense of comfort and peace. What was it about that sensation that had such an effect on you? I like the audaciousness of your premise too with these questions. Wow. Generally, the warmth of the sun is something that is gives me much comfort and peace. And what is it about that? Maybe because when I'm not warm, I tend to tense up and shiver. But if I'm warm enough, then my body can relax more. I can be more calm. And also, I can remember a specific time too when I had early living in the home where I am now in Altadena. My son's dad had ended our marriage, and I was struggling with depression, anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks, yada, yada, yada. And there on the side, the sun would come hit the side of the Pilates studio, and my insides were generally revved up a lot. And so I could go sit there and close my eyes and feel the sun and help kind of settle and calm down. So that's my answer to this question.
Is there a particular sound, song, or voice that has the power to transport you to a moment in time? What does that sound make you feel? Why do you think it has such an impact on you? I'll have to think about this. It's kind of cheesy, but I'll run with it. So, when I was a kid, I used to listen to a song. It was the movie soundtrack. I liked old movies when I was a kid. I watched Turner Classic Movies and whatnot. And it was Christopher Cross, Sailing. And I remember listening to that song, and it would give me such peace and serenity in my life that it took me to a place that was very peaceful. We used to go to the beach as a kid, and the beach was just a place of serene peace for me. You know, the birds and the breeze, the people. And I used to always love going to the beach because it took me to, I wasn't thinking, I wasn't in my head just worrying about things, because as a kid I had little worries. But the beach would put me in a very serene place. And that song would transport me to that place as a child. And I always go back and listen to that song whenever I need to be in that place. So for some reason that song Sailing was the song that would do it for me. So
How does the song go?
Go for it.
We need the music.
Thanks,
I
William.
don't know.
well, if you want to sing, cover your ears. You want me to sing, cover your ears.
No,
Go, 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 go.
Sailing takes me away. Did I make the audition?
Thank you. That's really good.
Super Toastmaster. Very nice meeting you though.
Thank you.
The question is, do you think it is possible for what you consider to be blue to be different than what someone else considers to be blue?
Wow.
Wow.
So deep.
So deep.
Yeah.
Can I try this question?
Yeah, we can pick
What
that one.
other things do you think people may agree on but could perceive differently? I think, can I try to blue? Actually, I think
Blue,
this is
you wear
good.
blue.
I'm wearing blue. So, okay, let's start this one. I think
it's green.
it's a green.
It's an opinion. It's an
So I
opinion.
think this question is kind of, to me, if you think about the blue, this is very broad. So for me, I wouldn't consider anything about the blue or red, but blue actually is my favorite color. Today, I'm from head to toe is the greenish blue. I love the blue color. The blue, for me, the first thing I thought about is the blue sky. So whenever you see the blue sky, make you happy, make you feel like, oh, today's a beautiful day. We love it. So first of all, make you happy, make everybody happy, make the whole world feel clean. That's the first things we thought about. The second things, I think people will very sensitive about the colors. Whenever you see the colors, it's bright, make you have the good feelings and also good, especially good feelings, what I should say. But the last things, I feel like blue sometimes, if you think about dark blue color, that make you think very calm and feel like, oh, you got to calm down yourself, make yourself feel comfortable. That's all I can think. Thank you so much.
Number one is Owen. Let me introduce them. Well, the title of his speech is Will America Decline? This is something like politics. And it's 12 to 15 minutes, and then, but it's going to be 20 minutes because we have a question and answer 5 minutes. When I first introduced Owen, he said he's single. And I
Yes.
interviewed him today, and he's still single. But then I said, well, no, I'm too old for you.
You don't know that.
I'm just gonna let go of you.
He will make exception, you know that.
But he's saying, see, this is what we need, laugh. And I'm gonna be sharing this with you.
I know his type. Summer Hyatt or something.
That's right. We did.
Oh yeah, yes, And he said, he's still single, ready to mingle. He loves to play basketball and read fiction and poetry. Let us all welcome Owen.
Minute. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished, well, not so guests. So, as you know, the title of my speech is going to be Will America Decline? I did this speech in order to give a perspective to people after the election. You know, it's more or less people are in doomsday thinking that the country's going to go downhill. So this is just a perspective from a layman who's read a little bit of history, maybe to give you a perspective to think about. As you know, there's America's ominous future. So many analysts in the media foresee that America is a declining world power. Right? So we look at the three factors to play into this prognosis. So you have national debt, you have $36 trillion. How are we going to pay it off? We're going bankrupt. You know, we have political instability. We have the Trump assassinations. We have the July 6th Capitol riots. We have the riots with the George Floyd. Everything seems haywire. We have a low birth rate. We have millennials such as myself who are just delaying giving birth and having children. We have decay of morals and values. People just don't care about family anymore. It's all about them. Hyper-individualism, right? And then we have crumbling institutions. We have churches. We have schools, universities. They're all closing down. So it seems like the world is just going in topsy-turvy. America's going down. We're declining as a world power. All is lost. There's no hope. Therefore, we have no future. Right? Right? Not so fast. Okay? America's going through a transitional period to a new economic and political age. So America goes through a new transitional period every 40 to 50 years. America will come out of this phase stronger and more resilient.
Excellent.
Good news.
Yeah.
So there's 3 transitional periods that I wanted to cover. There's more, but limited time, I'm just going to cover these 3. So there's age 1. This is from 1877 to 1929. Age 2 is 1929 to 1980. Age 3 is where we're presently on, 1980 to 2028. That's just the estimation dates that I give. So the age 1 is the industrialization age. Okay, so there's Rutherford P. Hayes. He was the 18th president of the United States. He enacted the greatest industrial revolution when he replaced the gold-silver standard of Andrew Jackson's 1830s era, and he had the gold standard to fight the Civil War inflation. At the time, we had a lot of inflation. We had to get rid of the silver medal in order to control it, and we were able to do so. In doing that, in 1890, we replaced Great Britain as the greatest economy in the world, and then we became the largest credit in the world by 1916. So all looks pretty good. So there was political instability that happened. So America's industrial output became too imbalanced, which means that there's too many rich people and too little rich people and many, many poor people. So we saw massive inequality between the rich and the poor. So we saw Carnegie, Rockefeller, Morgan, they all had billions of dollars while people had very little working in the factories, making them rich. So then we had radical political movements that were rampant. So we had the socialists, the anarchists, the Marxists. They were all trying to clamor for power to try to take down this evil regime called this capitalist nation, America, making people poor. We had multiple assassinations. So we had James A. Garfield was assassinated in 1882. We had William McKinley in 1901 by anarchists. Then we had Theodore Roosevelt was attempted assassination in 1912. Wow. So we had quite a bit of political upheaval at that time. This led to the Great Depression. As we know that the U.S. stock market declined in 1929. This led to the U.S. GDP contracting by 30% between 1929 and 1933. Worldwide GDP declined by 15% in that same period. So this crash spawned all these different movements, radical movements in Europe. So we have Hitler in Germany, Mussolini in Italy, and Francisco Franco in Spain. So, and obviously it led to World War II and the destruction that followed from that. So we go to age 2, right? Age 2, America becomes the most powerful country in the world. America accounted for 50% of the world's GDP. That is unheard of, probably never happen again. So what happened also, and this is very key, is that the Bretton Woods Conference effectively made America the world's bank. So what we see is the U.S. reserve currency was made from this agreement, where you have the U.S. as the world reserve currency, but it's redeemable in gold. And that, I'll explain that in the next slide. Okay, so we go into political instability. So with the emergence of Western Europe and Japan's economies after World War II, America's economy struggled. So before we had a dollar shortage, meaning there weren't a lot of dollars in circulation in the world economy. But in the 60s, there's plenty of dollars in circulation. So this led to economic problems because it was harder for US manufacturers to produce goods at cheap prices with so many dollars in circulation. So there's outsourcing of jobs to various countries, which led to a lot of economic problems in America, led to recessions, it led to inflation, it led to a whole host of issues. During this time of economic problems, we saw numerous assassinations. We saw JFK get assassinated in 63. We saw Malcolm X in 65, MLK in 68, RFK in 68. And also we saw the period of stagflation. So in protest to the U.S. assisting Israel in the Yom Kippur War of 73, the OPEC countries led by King Faisal of Saudi Arabia imposed an oil embargo to the U.S. and other Western countries in that same year. So what you see here is you have gas shortages where you literally have to wait in line to try to get gas because there wasn't enough gas to go around. The U.S. experienced stagflation. So stagflation is you have high unemployment and then you also have high inflation at the same time, which was thought unheard of, but it was pretty much seen during this period. But we went through a transitional period in the 80s with Reagan. What Reagan saw is that the policies that we tried to enact to get over these economic problems did not work. We were trying to use Keynesian policies, just the fancy economics word. We were trying to get people to spend money. The problem wasn't spending money. The problem was we didn't have enough supply to sell to people. So Reagan said, well, we're going to have this supply side economics idea where we're going to have lower the taxes for rich people, rich companies, in order to create more jobs. And we're going to lower taxes for people to consume, to spend money to make the economy be vibrant in the household sector, and then for innovation, for people to make new technology, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, to start innovating for the economy so that we can transition away from industrial goods. And that's certainly what happened during Reagan's era. So from 1993 to 2001, we were able to grow exponentially in the tech sector under Clinton with Reagan's idea of tax reduction. So, however, we see political instability once again. So the cost of living started to elevate sharply after 2001. We started seeing a lot of foreign capital going into the housing sector. So we saw a bunch of rich people from Taiwan, China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Brazil as well. They were coming into America spending lots of money to buy real estate, to buy homes, to buy stock, and that's what made the property values go up quite a bit during this period. We also saw that the tech sector grew rapidly in the 2010s. So Obama started passing policies to try to get these tech companies to grow, but he neglected the working class, where he didn't allow the working class to have their jobs revamped from the overseas job markets that China was taking these jobs from. So we started seeing that the working class Americans, as you probably know, felt left out. They felt, well, what about us? We see a bunch of rich people in the tech sector making lots of money, yet we're struggling to keep jobs and survive. And what we saw as Donald Trump became president in response to a lot of the Washington elite neglecting the working class. So as you see, rent is too damn high, maybe Donald Trump is too expensive.
Remember that?
Yeah. And this leads us to the crash. This leads us to the economic problem. So we saw that the housing market crashed in December of 07 due to poor regulation by the government. The government just pretty much had a hands-off approach saying you can do what you have to do as long as you can go ahead and make these loans go and the economy is booming, that's fine. And then you had risky lenders saying, well, okay, we know you can't afford the home, we know your credit's a bit shaky, but you know what, you're good for business, you're gonna give me a high commission, I'm gonna give you a loan anyway. Obviously, this led to the Great Recession, and this led to deflation, meaning that prices went down because people weren't spending their money. People didn't have money to spend, so prices were going down as a result. So the Federal Reserve responded by slashing these interest rates to near zero because they were desperate to get people to spend money. They said, we have to make sure the economy is revamped by getting people to spend money, so we're going to incentivize them by slashing interest rates. However, we saw a rebound of inflation with the pandemic, and then the Fed had to raise the interest rates even more. So we see economic instability was a cause a lot of times with the political instability. So what can we conclude from this? We can conclude that America's political instability is determined by America's economic status. So America's economic periods usually last 40 to 50 years, as deterioration is usually seen through political and social tension, right? The problems such as the national debt, political instability, low birth rate, decay of morals and values, and crumbling institutions are symptoms of the period's deterioration and the beginning of the new age. And they will be solved in the new age. Therefore, America will overcome its present difficulties and become a stronger nation. Any questions?
So as we're gonna see the gas prices go down and inflation will go down with that?
So with inflation, it has more to do with people spending lots and lots of money now. It used to be that we had a shortage of resources early on, but then now it's just people just aren't spending so much money that the Fed has to raise these interest rates. However, they're lowering these interest rates because spending is starting to slow down, inflation's going down, but still, we still have inflation pretty high for that reason. Yes.
Today, on the way back home from work around 6:30, I heard the NPR news talking about the people spending in this season already started before the Black Friday. Because some people are talking about this year, the price looks like is very reasonable and acceptable compared to the last 2 years. And then they are talking about, looks like the price wise is already back to 2018 to 19. So they feel like, looks like the economy, the inflation is slowly, gradually going down. How do you think about that?
So the inflation has been going down, let's say for the last 3 months or so. The Fed last week just lowered their interest rate by a quarter, by 25 basis points. So we're starting to see the gradual effects of inflation reducing, and it's going back to pre-pandemic levels, but it's still at a very high price point for consumers. Prices are still high. So we haven't overcome inflation quite yet, but for the most part, we're getting over that hill. So.
But talking about the dollar wise, now looks like the US dollars is getting stronger and stronger. Today, even when people are talking about the US dollar and all the people over the world come over here to try get more US dollars for exchange to invest here because the return rate is higher and also the value is stronger.
Yeah, the US dollar is, so this is what you see in economics is that when the US dollar is very strong, that tells you that more and more people are putting their money into the market.
Yeah.
But it also says that other countries are struggling immensely as well. So we see it in China, we see it in Japan, that the yen and the yuan are struggling a lot.
Right.
So that means that the dollar adversely has to be very strong. That's not good for the long term because we don't want China and Japan to be struggling as they are. We want to give them a little bit more strength and we want the dollar to go down in value in order for the cost of living to also go down in value because it's more expensive for consumers to have a very, very strong dollar compared to other currencies.
But the thing is, Americans want to, of course, we all want America to be stronger again. How about other countries? You want the world to be peace, then everybody should have at least a affordable, sustainable life for that.
The problem also is that when you look at the situation like Japan and China, it's hard for these countries to change their economic position for structural reasons. So America has every incentive to try to make sure that Japan and China do not fall too low. And they don't want the dollar to be as strong as it is. So it's hard for investors to say, okay, we're not gonna invest in the US dollar, we're gonna invest in the Chinese yuan, when China is struggling economically and hasn't shown investors that it's a worthwhile investment. So it's a lot of there's a lot of moving parts to that. So, yeah.
Do you think foreign countries having such a direct line to our citizens will affect our country's stability being tied to the financial timeline?
Can you explain your question a little bit more?
Yeah, like for example, before you couldn't control what your citizens heard from other countries, but now misinformation is being provided to all of our citizens to divide us. Do you think this is enough of an effort to separate the health of our country from being tied to the economic cycle?
Yeah, I believe that misinformation is rampant It's been rampant for a long time.
Fake news you're talking about?
Fake news. We see China and Russia are having deliberate ploys to try to give misinformation to voters. We've seen it with Russia using ploys in the social media and YouTube. That's always going to be at play. I think that's just a part of the system, the climate that we're in, because of the economic conditions that we have, because there's a vast amount of wealth in the top 1%, and the bottom, let's say 50 to 99% of people do not have as much wealth. So we do see a lot of political instability for that reason, and they're more or less just exploiting that. But once the economy gets better, you'll start to see less of it, because people won't really be up in arms about their lives.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I got two questions. The first question is, so everyone, there's a shortage in the housing market. And one of the biggest reasons is that everyone's, such a low interest right now. So, one, how do you see the housing market balancing out, correcting itself? And two, is the only recourse another natural disaster or great recession or depression to reset everything? Because how are we going to get the supply back if the only way I see the supply coming back is if there's another natural disaster or catastrophe that forces unemployment high, which will force people out of their homes. They'll lose their homes, and the supply will come back. I don't see any other way supply is going to come back.
I believe that the homes crisis, this is just my opinion, I'm just a layman, you take it for what it is, but I believe that a lot of the analysis that I read in the news is a bit incomplete about the housing shortages. I think it has more to do with macroeconomics and micro. What I mean by that is they're looking at it as supply demand. There's not enough houses for a vast amount of people, but I think it has more to do with what's going on overseas, what's going on with Taiwan, China, Singapore. All these people with vast amounts of resources are coming into the market and marking up the prices for ordinary consumers. So it's crowding out all these other first-time home buyers who don't have the money to compete in that market. So what has to happen is there has to be Congress has to come in and more or less.
Is there any data to back that up? Because what's the difference between the rich 1%, the 1% investing in the house, is the 1% taking up the housing supply? How's that any different?
Well, it's just when you have capital coming from overseas, and these are like industrialists from China, from Taiwan. I'm running out of time, so we're gonna have to stop there. Thank you.
As always, Owen is giving very informative all the time. And aren't you considering to have a part-time job as a historian?
Leaving cars and or politics.
Yep. The second speaker is Billy. Let me say something about Billy.
It's a good thing.
Please.
Of course, they're always okay. He came to the U.S. From Cambodia in 2003, and he started as a mechanic, and now he transitioned to a financial consultant. Isn't that something different? Be a mechanic to a financial
It's the same,
consultant?
but this different.
What's different?
Different machine.
It's just like with me, from an NCR operator as my first job with Bank of America, and then after 51 years, I really worked myself up.
It's different both, that's what it
It's
is.
different, completely different. Okay, Billy, are you ready?
Yes, let me fellow Toastmaster and Madam Toastmaster. Today I will be talking about what does financial independence mean to you, right? How to get there, and my topic related to Owen a little bit, and also I will provide you the solution, how to get financial freedom, and what is the challenge, what is the obstacle along the way, all right? So I want you to look at this. I'm going to talk about the U.S. national debt. This is the real website right here, all right? So I'm going to grade it out and then I'm going to talk to you about the numbers of U.S. national debt. About $36 trillion that he was mentioned earlier. It's a strange, we didn't talk about it. So, but look at it, $36 trillion, how they get there? It's so simple because this is the revenue, that's income that they make, and this is how much they spend. So imagine that you make $100,000 and you spend $140,000 every single year. How can you support those, right? Now, when you look at the U.S. national debt, look at the history, it's showing that the past 200 years, they only accumulate about $5 trillion. But the latest 20 years, they accumulate about $31 trillion. That's how much it is. Let me show you another one. Look at the Medicare liability. $41 trillion. Social Security liability, $27 trillion. How do you deal with that? Right? And also, I want you to look at this. 44 million people live in poverty. We in America, what happened? Why is a lot of people live in poverty, right? And also, about 42 million families receive the food stamp right now. Stunning numbers. The bottom 50% of the wealth, only each of them own about $37,000. Why is that? What happened? Because of this right here. This survey from Gallup and S&P is saying that almost 1 out of 2 American financial illiteracy. They don't understand the financial concept, how to plan for the future, how money grow, right? How tax work. And then the U.S. ranked number 14 in the financial literacy worldwide. We're not even in the top 10, 14, right? And then another survey showing that about 66% of Americans doesn't understand the compound interest. 2 out of 3. So today I want to share with you a little bit, so maybe you can increase this number, like more than 30%, right? 34% that they understand. So that's how it is. In America, the lack of financial concept, financial knowledge, how tax work, how investment work, what is compound interest, right? And also, I want to show you this. I think I want to talk about that too. Look at this. U.S. saving right now is 3.1%. And look at the credit card debt, $926 billion. You know what? This also the U.S. like the people like middle America, they always got brainwashed by always talk about spending, buying stuff. I talked to somebody today. He said that in the house right now we have a lot of shoes, right? Before they only 1 or 2. Right now, like the whole cabinet like full of shoes, not even shoes. They promote spending. And this time right here, you see saving, they're up by about 38%, 33%. Because why? Because of stimulus check. And then the pandemic hit, people worry, they start to save. But the habit did not change. Later on, they get into the habit of spending again. And look at the debt. And I want to show you credit card debt total by age. Look at where you at, right? You age right here, 30 to 39, you are among this group right here. The $134 billion right now. Imagine that you're young, you just get off, finish school, 18 and 29, $48 billion in credit card debt. You got credit card when you graduate from what? Even high school right now, they get credit card, right? Why? Because they promote spending. It's not just, if you have the basic financial concept, how spending, what is asset, what is liability, how is that work, what you need to accumulate asset, not liability, this number would be changed, right? I'm right here, $170 billion. Now you look at your age right here, where your category, that's where your debt total is, right? And also, let me share with you, what is the solution? There's some problem right now, right? So let me talk about our company mission, No Family Left Behind. I bring this up because a lot of people don't understand. They call knowledge quadrants. The first quadrant is you know what you know. Basically, what do I mean by that? Meaning that if I know how to drive, I know how to eat, all of that. So that's what you know. Second one, you know what you don't know. I don't know how to fly, so I don't know how to, cook. So they think there's a lot of people stuck in this two level. The third one is you don't know what you know. I call this a potential quotient. Like, hey, you know how much potential you can do in life. You just don't know about it yet. You gotta find out. Today I'm not gonna talk about that, I'm talking about this. You don't know what you don't know. I call this a blind spot quotient. That's why people live in poverty, because they don't know what they don't know. Like, that's why you got to understand. I hope some of the things I shared earlier, now you get to find out, hey, this is what I didn't know before. Now I know it. Your national debt, all those stuff. What is the solution? Let me share with you. This is our company, right? We are Dream Builder Financial. And what we do right here, we want to have middle class family achieve financial freedom. Government cannot help us. We got to help ourselves. Doesn't matter who in power. We the one that educate ourselves and get ourselves to financial freedom, right? So a lot of people go to work to make money. The question is, if you make $50,000 a year right now, if you work for 40 years, you accumulate about $2 million already. Why a lot of people retire broke? Where's the money gone? You ever thought about that? Let me share with you today. So if you talk about average paycheck of middle class family, look like this. First one, the biggest one is 50% of your income paid to living expense, right? I had 3 kids. I spend more than that. So that's what it is. That's what it looks like. And then the 25% paid that. What is that? Student loan, car loan, mortgage. And people say, hey, yeah, I have 25% saved up. I said, no, don't forget. You forget about your favorite uncle, Uncle Sam. Taxes. Why I said your favorite uncle? Because you pay them first before you get the money. Pay him first before you get the money. Right? Every time you see a paycheck, where does the money go, right? Federal tax, FICA, state tax. So you pay them first before you get your money. What if I can show you, hey, worry about yourself first, let's get more money in your pocket. And then you pay them, right? Pay Uncle Sam. Now, and also, to get to financial freedom, you need to know how to do the opposite. Get your money, go to work for you. Simple, right? But how did you do that? For the pursuit of financial independence, you need to understand this 3 steps. First one, you got to educate yourself financially, right? How did you do that? Find a place you can help you to get educated, right? Our firm, we provide classroom training, one-on-one, even Zoom. Like for me, I came from mechanic background. I know nothing about finance. I never understand what 401k was, what mutual fund was. I didn't know how to buy stock. But I come here, I learn myself. I learn and get different license, and I said now I do everything, right? Because we provide this class right here. Financial class for our members, right? We talk about mutual funds, stock, bond, real estate. What is IRA? How does tax defer work? 401k. I call this the rules of the money games. Imagine that you play sport, let's say you play soccer, or basketball, right? And then when you go play, I said, you know what, Billy, I don't know the rules of the game. How many percent chance you're gonna win the game? You're not thinking about this money game right here. We've been playing all along. My families, my mom, my dad, they lost the money game. Why? Because at the end of the day, when they retire, they have nothing left. I support them. Without me, they would be homeless. Because they lost the money game, they didn't understand this stuff. So we teach them, we have class, say, what is Roth IRA? How is that Roth IRA work? How do you max out that? How do you get more money in your pocket instead of give to the government? Instead of give to markets, all of those, right? How do you power taxes, disability? This is a class that we offer. So you can have that education so you become financial literacy. Right? You're going to be getting to that 34% teaches, not the 66% financial literacy, right? So that's what you want to do. Now this class we provide to our members is free. And the second one, I call the financial solution. So we do from life insurance to tax strategy. So when we talk about financial solution, let me talk about the different way of thinking. Ask yourself, where are you financially right now? Let me share with you this. This is called X-curve concept. Basically, just look like X. So when you first started a family, you have a lot of responsibility, but you don't have a lot of money. It's simple like that. Along the way, you want to get to financial freedom, you gotta know how to lower your responsibility and increase your money curve. simple as you say, but it's not easy to do it. When you start to save, increase, grow your money, there's a stop sign along the way that will stop you or slow you down from growing your asset. What is it? Inflation, like he's talked about earlier. Right now it's a little bit better, but one point like maybe 18% something back in the day, right? And the highest one, 9% in here in the US. I never seen that. That's the first time. How do you combat that? Make your money grow faster, higher than inflation. Inflation 3%, get high 5%, 6%. Then how do you combat? How about the risk? Risk management, right? How do you manage the risk, not losing money? So which program, which investment strategy you can do? You learn yourself, you can ask some professional to help you out. And then taxes, right? How do you pay taxes? How do you pay less taxes? How do you minimize your tax when you take money out, not give to Uncle Sam, put more in your pocket? How do you do that? Yeah, like last weekend we have the tax seminar from Ed Slot, one of the top, like one of the, I think number one CPA in the US right now. He talked about tax strategy, right? He taught us about that. How about healthcare costs? What happens if we become sick, right? What if we become sick? Now, let's talk about compound interest. How does the compound interest work? If right now, let's see, Owen right now, he wants to start early and start putting away $2,000 a year, $6 a day, right? So you put for 8 years, and then, for 8 years, only $2,000 a year, and you stop putting in. At the end, after 40 years, you may have $500,000 at 10% growth, compound interest. Right? What is William said? I want to have fun, I want to party first, I'm going to wait for 8 years and start to put money in. Now you need to put for a long time to get less than Owen, because he start early. Compound interest. Right? What is Helen said? I want to start now and then continue my growing, I continue put money in, so she can have almost $1 million. So you become a millionaire, you just start early, you put a little bit of money as long as you invest consistently, so you can have that $1 million already. Right? Now, tax, where's the money? I give to you later. How your money get taxes? 3 ways that you can save your money. Right? Taxable, you pay tax right now. Tax deferred, you pay tax later. And tax advantage, you pay tax now, later on you don't need to pay tax. They call this tax free. Where you save your money, the government will tax you accordingly. You understand this tax structure, you can minimize your tax already. Hey, I have too much money in here, I'm gonna move in here so I can have more later on in the future. I don't need to pay tax later on. Oh, I have a lot of money in here, let me move right here, right here. So whatever you do, you can diversify it. So it's knowledge, it's everything. That's what I learned from the company, right? And now, the last one, what is that? You need to make money. Simple. Financial freedom, make money, right? Talk about money, look at our income in the US right now, 78,000, right? And then, where to make money? A lot of industry you can do, real estate, retail, or finance, but the financial is the biggest industry right now. That's why I'm in here, right? And then right now, they're showing that about 200,000 advisor shortfall. Right? That's why I changed my career from Nissan mechanic to financial, the big industry, right? Start making money. So the goal is you want to build a active income and passive income. Only passive income that help you, like, I know that Taffy have a lot of passive income because they have an investment home income coming in, right? You gotta have multiple streams of passive income to help you to get to financial freedom. That is the key. Now, just remember, at the end, I want you to know that to pursue financial independence, number 1, get yourself educated. Number 2, do the planning. Number 3, build a passive and active income. And the last one, question is, what is your audacious goals to help you to get to financial freedom? Thank you for that. Thank you back to the stage. Thank you.
Very informative, Billy.
Goodness.
Really. Whereas with me, 51 years, I never got that 6 figures. Very good. Now, our third speaker. Okay. I made a mistake. Brenda's not here. Who would like to volunteer? Or I'm going to volunteer who's going to be the evaluator for Taffy. Owen, you can read my mind. Okay. Owen will be evaluating Taffy. Okay, let us all welcome Taffy, but let me just something. He was born in Nazareth, and then it's the whole exodus of the family.
Yes.
You got everything. You're so lucky. I was by myself here for 10 years. How many were you able to ring here. You can count anymore, how many? All of them?
No, I mean, me and my parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5 of us came.
Good job. Okay, the title of his speech is Sleep and Breath.
Breath.
Breath, B-R-E-A-T-H,
Yes.
right? Okay, it's 10 minutes. Let us all welcome Tuffy.
I'm not sure if you guys could see the.
Oh, take them out if you want.
You can
Yeah.
do that.
Remove it?
Yeah.
We can see. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Put it here.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll put it back.
better.
Thank you.
You see it better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last time was audacious of me to talk about intermittent fasting. You guys remember that?
Intermittent
Yes.
fasting, yes.
And who lost 5 or 10 pounds? Good job. Good job. Good job. Without talking to your doctor, right? Intermittent fasting was amazing to me. So we're going to continue with the same topic about your sleep. Because you can do everything you want in life, exercise, eating right, everything, but your sleep is one of the most foundation for your health. So today we're gonna continue with my health for you guys. I want to keep you healthy,
Thank you.
and especially on your sleep. So sleep is one of the most important for our life. As you guys been, some of you fall asleep 8 hours, some of you 6 hours, some of you 3 hours. But the natural way we need to sleep is about 8 hours to 7 hours a day. And then there is a different kind of sleep. As you guys know, you could regular balance, you could eat right, you could do everything in your life, and even intermittent fasting. But without good quality sleep, you're gonna have what? Poor sleep can metabolism, increase craving, stress level could go high. Some of us, we go through a lot of stress in our life, especially financially, economy, politics, wake you up in the middle of the night. So your good sleep is a foundation, allow your body to benefit from all these exercise and nutrition. And that's where we're gonna be able to talk. Your sleep habit. I know we have a little bit of fly. Do you know what's that mean? Sleeping with your open mouth allow you what they call mouth breathing. How many of us sleep with the mouth open? Like that. And your wife kick you, or the wife or the husband, whatever it is. So mouth open sleeping is very common. I used to be one of them. So I'm telling you my experience. It lead to what? Dry mouth, bad breath. If you get up in the morning and ouch. So sore throat, increase of risk, sleep disorder, like sleeping, and there is a sleeping apnea. Some of you may have that. And we're gonna talk about a little bit more. Neuro airway over here will cause to wake up in the middle of the night, and that noise will cause very bad to you and to your mouth, and especially for the kids. So if you have a child that open his mouth and sleeping, we gotta teach him how to breathe through his what? Nose. Because your nose is the best way to breathe in life. But nobody teach us. Everybody, and what happened? You inhale what? Everything in around us. But the nose is the filter. Cleanse everything comes into your mouth, and especially your head. And that's where the most important topic of our life that I find out. So snoring is one of the best. A lot of people have the snoring habit, and that's the reason we want you to talk about it and figure out from your partner, husband, wife. Are you open your mouth? You make a noise in the middle of the night, and that's the reason you need to monitor your sleep. When you wake up and you have a headache, and you have a little bit of dry mouth, that give you some indication. And if you snore, like some of us, could be for many different causes. It could be overweight, or it could be a different cause that I found out about myself. My wife keep kicking me out of the bed, and I have to go to a different bed just so I could keep the noise down. And that's the reason where the symptom comes in. Loud snoring, what happened? You stop breathing during the sleep. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. That we call it sleep apnea. Anybody have a sleep apnea? No. So I did my study and I found out I have a sleep apnea. That means is I could stop throughout the night. I could stop up to 20 times without a breath. And that's easy. Some people and they wake up like this. Why? Because you're like somebody choking you. And you wake up and you're out of breath and you wonder what's going on. And then during the day, you be driving and you're like, what happened? You're dazing off. So that means your quality of sleep is going down. And that's the reason when you do a sleep study, you go to the place, there's a, they give you now, it's a little bit, they give you the kit at home and you monitor yourself and they could tell you how many times per night you stop breathing. And how important is breathing, especially for exercising. It's the most important things, right? Without breathing, you're dead. So that's in the morning. That is difficult to stay asleep, knowing that there's insomnia too. Exercise during the day, exercise and everything. So what is the option you have? You got now two stuff is. You got the snoring, and you got to find out why, and you got maybe sleep apnea. That's another option you have. So we're gonna talk to you about how to help you have a better sleep in your life. Did anybody knows about this? So, gonna give you the exercise. So, when you go to bed, the best way to exercise that is what? Shut your mouth. Because 8 hours a day, you're not going to control your mouth. Because you'll be sleeping, you're dreaming, So what happened is, you need somewhere to close it. When I found out this method, it saved me a lot of energy and power. It's maybe less than 5 cents. Okay? So what do at night before you go to bed? You exercise your what? What are you going to exercise here?
Your nose.
Exactly.
Breathing.
So you shut your mouth with this, you close it. And I found out, this is another thing important, because when I go to bed, I put this on, and my wife, what you done? So what I said, this is a very marriage therapy. I said, tomorrow we'll talk about it, tomorrow. So I could go to bed with what?
Peace.
Peace. So this is my peace. This is my therapy. So I can sleep at night. So with that, let's talk about it. What happened? Improve your sleep quality, increase your from the nose, and here's all the benefit. Filter the air, removing all the dust will come into your nose. Adding moisturizer, because your mouth is not going to help you. Your nose is going to help you. Okay? Warming the air before get into your lung. That's important. It's almost like a filter. Comes into your lungs. Improve your anxiety. Slower the deep breath for oxygen. Less your chance of dry mouth. Good facial for the kids. I don't know, some of the kids, how the cavities and the way the facial, and if you study the last 200 years, how they study and they find out our structure is different now. Why? Our food is different, everything, and the way we breathe. Some of the runners, I don't know if you know that, they try to exercise where just when they run, using their nose instead of their mouth. I know some of us will run, but that's wrong. Because you're inhaling what? Everything around you. So this is the benefit of nasal breath compared to negative effect. So you could, and you could study about it. I mean, it's very, Google it, you know, nose breath or breath breath, and you could say the comparison is all over the internet. When I found out, I said, oh my God, nobody told me that. Sleep apnea. I found out I had a sleep apnea. So there is the snoring, and you could help you with that, but there is some of us severe, like me and my 3 brothers. We have 3 brothers, and we found out all of us have a sleep apnea. That means we stop breathing throughout the night. My brothers, when he studied them, is 30 times per night. You know how many? Like this. It's like his wife keeps saying, God, he's like almost dead. It's like somebody's, you know, choking him. So that means he has sleep apnea. So you do the study, and then what you do, you get a machine. And then oxygen comes in. And I know some of us, we see some of the ads where they put some machine here in your heart. But I have a sleep apnea. It's the best thing I do. Now I'm exercising better. And breath is better. Our life is better. And then my mouth is shut down at night, so I don't have to worry about it. The breath, that's the most important. Because 3 minutes without oxygen, and you're dead. 3 days without water, you're dead. And 3 weeks without food, you're dead. So the most important is what? The oxygen. 3 minutes. So with that, I want you to, one exercise I don't know, somebody told me about it years ago, as they call it. You remember that?
Box breathing.
Box breathing. Anybody know about box breathing? Yes. Some of you know. Box breathing is anytime you go to a meeting or your accents or you have anxiety or anything, you do breath box breathing. The Navy, SEAL, in the middle of military action, they learn to do that. That means you take a breath, let's exercise it. I think I have a few minutes left. I'm in the green or the red? Okay. So, you breathe for 4 seconds, breathe. You hold it for 4 seconds, you hold your breath. You let it out for 4 seconds. And then you breathe in. You breath out, and you hold it, and then you breath. So you do it for 4 times, 5 times a day as you see yourself anxious about something, or you want to do something, or you go to a meeting, and you want to try to control your anxiety or something going on, and it's good to practice. It doesn't matter what it is in life. It's just good. Thank you, man.
Oh my gosh, so glad that I don't have any problem with sleeping. I'm in bed at 7 o'clock until 12 o'clock watching Netflix.
Oh,
From 12 o'clock until 8:30.
that's good.
Every single day. So I'm so blessed. Anyway, waiters. You're so welcome, Joy.
Joy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy De Los Santos. I'm your general evaluator for today's meeting. First of all, I'm going to call on my tag team. Helen, she already gave her report. So Helen, if you could just reiterate, everyone qualified, right?
Yeah, everyone qualified.
Thank you so much. And then the next person, the tag team, because it's Timer, Odd Counter, and Grammarian. Our Odd Counter, Jim, thank you for your first time Odd Counter. If you can please stand up and give us your report.
So, Ellie, I got you for 1 and more than 5 ums.
Ooh, very good.
Owen, I got 1 2 ums, and 2 so's. Interestingly, you said some other so's, but they were appropriate. And then you had 1 and I had to work for that one. Helen, you had 4 ahs and 4 ums. General William, you had 2 ums.
Thank you.
You also had 1 repeat. Let's see. Rick, you had 1 and 2 ums. Joy, you had 3 ahs and more than 5 ums. Kelly, you had 1 Helen, you had 1 Billy, you had 3 ahs. And what was interesting about your 3 ahs, you were clean right up until the point she held up the green card.
Oh.
And you said 3, just boom, 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 just one right after the other. And you said 1, you did 1 repeat. And Taffy, you had 1 and you had 1
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for that report. And next we have, again, Helen, wearing many hats today. Thank you, grammarian.
For the people who use audacious, if I missed you, I apologize, but Kelly used it. Audacious of the precious. And Billy says, what is your audacious goal? That was really nice. Ellie said something, thoughts and saying that I thought that was interesting. Seeing Elvis thin at that time. Yeah, I know Elvis have blew up later in life. Kelly said, inside revved up close to my eyes and feel the sun. I just thought that was an interesting description, that your inside revved up with the sun, the warmness. And Owen, you said your favorite song, Sailing, make you think about peace and serenity of your life, and I thought that was very nice, and you give me a picture in my mind. And Helen Zhu, you said blue is my favorite color, and blue sky and the beautiful day, and I thought that was really nice too. Billy said that he was a mechanic. He went from a mechanic to a financial freedom, and I thought that was a very good saying. And once again, what is your audacious goal? Financial freedom. Let's all be financially free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen. So, in general, as I evaluated the meeting, before the
We gotta
meeting.
do the evaluation for this
Oh,
piece.
sorry. So let me introduce our slew of evaluators. Evaluator number 1 is going to be Kelly evaluating Owen. Thank you.
Kelly was audacious and boldly voluntolding me to evaluate tonight. So, Owen, I always learn a lot when you speak, so I really appreciate that. I felt that you excelled with the slides, with giving us a visual representation of what you were explaining to us, which really helps in learning, I feel. Adapting to the tech difficulties or taking them in stride. Your command of history, you excel at that. And really capturing the gloom and doom. I saw a change in you between really representing the gloom and doom feel that people had, and then taking us out of that into reasons to have some more hope. The only thing I had as you may want to work on is sometimes, and I just caught myself doing it too, but sometimes it seemed like you did a lot of gesturing with your arms, and that could get a little bit distracting. Clarity, spoken language, I gave you a 5. Vocal variety, I gave you between a 3 and a 4. It seemed a little less high and low than I've heard sometimes from you. Eye contact, a 4. Gestures, between a 3 and a 4. Audience awareness, you always demonstrate good audience awareness of engagement with people. Comfort level, a 5. You always appear very comfortable with the audience. And interest, you engaged us with interesting and well-constructed content. So that's also a 5, and well supported was also a 5.
Thank you.
But maybe, like we all said, never too late to learn, right?
Yeah.
So your slide is very precise. I don't know exactly about numbers, but your numbers is, I don't know this is true or not. How can you get that so many numbers? Of course, you use the slide, that's very helpful for us to understand, but it takes a lot of time to do the analysis, that's for sure. I think you did a good job on that. and also numbers always tell the truth. I think if you just say something about the declining or growing, without the numbers, it's hard to tell. So this is a very, very good for people to understand, especially for me, like I'm not good at like manage my financial. I think it's a good way to learn. I'm very impressed. It's very stunning. And like you said, we all should have the audacious goal for our financial independence. So your speech is very informational and very challenging. It's challenging us, also challenging yourself. I wish I could know you early. And another things I like to bring it out is you have the no. This will bring me another saying from China, saying 人贵有自知之明. For us, I think in English there still have a saying, I know what I don't know. This is very important to every one of us. The good thing is about this, if we know what we don't know, we can understand and try to improve ourselves. For the overall of the evaluations, the clarity, I give you 5. Vocal varieties, I give you 4. And the eye contact is very good because you draw everybody's attention. And your gestures is a little bit slow. I give you 3 to 4. And audience awareness 5. Comfort level is 5. And interest is 5. Well supported by everybody 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Great job.
Great job.
Thank you so much. Is going to be Owen, who's going to be evaluating Taffy.
Taffy. What can I say? He gave such an audacious speech. Let me throw that in. But very good speech. I always love the fact that you have a very great command over the audience. This is your stage. You're pretty much the king here. You know, you say, you call and response, you give a question, we answer, and it's like, it feels like you're natural here. You know, you just know exactly what to say, how to say it. Your vocal variety was very good. I love the fact that you can enunciate certain words at a certain point, and I can feel it because I can tell right away that you had sleep apnea.
Yes.
The first sentence that you gave in that presentation, I felt it right away because this is something that you intimately deal with, and you had all the facts to give us. You had all the things that you can inform us about, whether or not we had sleep apnea. It was very educational because if we had it, we learned from your experience and we can do better in ourselves. And I think that's a really wonderful speech to try to help people be better in their lives with problems that we might deal with. I loved your presentation. I thought the colors you used were really nice. I thought the illustrations were really good. I love the box technique. I learned that. I didn't know that before coming here. And I think that with your speech pattern and with your speech sort of style, you're more a teacher, more someone who informs us. And it's really nice to see that you have a style that's unique to yourself. So I didn't have a sheet, so I just went off of just a list. I think, like I said, your voice projection was very good. You're very educational in how you go about giving your speeches. Very informative, very much something that I can take and say, okay, if I know someone who has sleep apnea, I'm gonna go ahead and inform them about this, what you just told us. I think that you have, like I said, great command over the stage. Your eye contact is great. You're not nervous at all. You more or less, we're nervous watching you. You're just like, I own this stage, you know, I know what I'm doing. So you're very, very confident, very confident. And I just think the last thing I want to say is that I love the fact that this speech is something that was intimately connected. I emphasize, but I really want to emphasize this point. It was intimately connected with you, and that's what I look for a lot of times. You want to have a speech that is something that you can give to the audience, so then I can know something about you, and it makes me closer in some ways to who you are as a person, and I appreciate the sincerity that you gave in that speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to go at 8:30, so I apologize. I'm going to go as fast as I can. So, for the general evaluation, I thought that today's meeting is an exercise in learning how to pivot, so you guys are all a team. I know there was a lot of changes. I saw it on the Telegram, and then I saw it when we got here. Ellie, you did a good job of volunteering everyone and trying to put everyone in place.
The queen.
Yeah, queen of volunteering. And Helen, thank you for wearing so many hats between timer and grammarian. Jim, thank you for jumping in. You went into the deep end. We just kind of like pushed you into the pool. You know, you didn't even have a chance to think about it. You're like, okay. So I thought today was really a good example of what this club can do. You guys have just, since I've been here over the past year, have up-leveled yourself. Whenever there's something that needs to get done, it's done. Whenever you need to give a speech, you give it your all. I like what you said, Owen, because I feel that the reason why we take this time for an hour and a half every other Monday is because we want to improve our communication, improve our societal networking, improve ourselves, and getting to know each other. This is a very human connection. Being it that we came from 3.5 years of lockdown, this is what we need. We need human connection. So this is the best that Toastmaster has. You guys are just showing proof of that. Kelly, you have improved so much. You're so much more comfortable here. Helen Zhu, you are such a different lady. You come up here with such aplomb and grace, and you don't back down. When you got that question that was a little tough, you didn't back down, so I'm proud of you for that. And Rick Baruni, thank you for bringing those questions. I felt like you stayed up all night thinking of those questions in that cigar box, and they were so good.
He smoked it too.
You really, yes. I'd like to get a copy of my question because that's like a journal prompt.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought today's meeting was very well done. You guys all pivoted. When there was a hole, you filled it. And so I'm very, very proud to be part of this team. Thank you so much. And carry on, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, for the winners.
Luga, I'm going to make it, huh?
I like about being a Toastmaster. So many features.
I get to be right next to Ellie.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next, evaluator, Owen.
One, two.
Very good. Let me say something, okay?
Okay.
This in addition. He mentioned about the competition, speech competition, and believe me, you got to go to those competition. I bought this 20 years ago when I first, or probably 23 or 25 years ago when I first started with Toastmaster, and this is really good. It says here 16.5 ways to add humor to any presentation or any speeches. I'm more of a humorous and inspirational speaker. And so one of these days when you come to the house, I'm just gonna show you some of my trophies. And it's more of, as I mentioned before, it's humorous speech. And if you want to borrow this, just return to me. Okay, we'll take turns. Okay, Helen. Okay, you got a week to and then we'll pass it on. Okay.
Oh, you gotta make the photocopy of it.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Can you
And
purchase it online?
That's what I was
probably
wondering, too.
I got it from I bought it from Toastmaster. In fact, these two persons that did it, this is really good. Believe me. It says they're not laughing because you're not funny. Right? And I'm sorry to tell you that I'm not gonna be here for the whole month of December. I'm gonna be traveling to Lima, Peru for 3 weeks. And then after that, I'm gonna climb the Machu Picchu. But I have appeals to take because of the high altitude.
Just breathe. That's all you need.
Coming back, I might have to go to Portland, Oregon to be with my daughter. She's 35 years old, and I stayed with her for 1 week because she had the surgery here somewhere. But she cannot make up her mind yet whether she wants to go on a radiation or the other one, or radiation, or the other choices. But if she's gonna need me for almost 2 weeks or 1 month. I'm gonna be staying in Portland, so I'm not gonna be here Christmas time and for the whole month of December or probably. So please pray for her also. Thank you so much. Jamie Tolentino, Jamie Rose Tolentino.
Jamie Rose.
Yeah. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you for the wonderful meeting. I know that was quite long. The speeches were long. I know I was long in my speech in the Q&A, but it's great to have the speeches today were really, really good.
Yes.
I was really surprised. Taffy just hit it out of the park, and I was just really, really happy to see that we all did presentations and we all managed to do really good. I think any one of us could have won that day, today. So it was really nice to see that. So now we're just going to transition into getting the speeches for next week. Anyone who wants to be a speaker for the competition, I'll just get a list and then we'll more or less take it from there. Taffy, you want to do it? Okay.
And it's any topic, like you said?
Any topic.
And how long could be? Or this like the same 10, 12 minutes, what are we doing now as we're doing this?
As we're doing now, the length can be...
You might want to check on that. There might be a regulation. So just check on it.
Yeah, I'll check on it,
Director.
but from what I told with Paula's email, she just said it can be up to the discretion of the speaker. So I'll just bank on that. So I think, but I'll check. I'll check.
It's just going to be all speakers, no format.
No
like this.
formats like
How many speeches?
We'll limit it to about 5 speeches. Just do 5. Well, that'd be the limit. So yeah.
Can you do an icebreaker at that time too?
Yeah, it could be an icebreaker. It could be any speech, any format.
But the icebreaker cannot go to the competition. So how are you gonna?
No, we're gonna decide who gets to go to the competition based off of we're gonna vote. So who gave the best?
It's like
how we're supposed to do it. Like people have to step outside while we vote. You understand all the.
Yeah, like the one that we
Ellie,
did
did you
before.
inform him?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be here, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not for probably.
Okay,
months.
I'll get the format from Paula, because she sent the email 3 days ago, and she just more or less gave me said it was a blank check that you can more or less have the speaker doesn't have to have a topic, and it's up to them to decide.
That's the
But
first thing.
all the details, I'll have it all, But
No, I'm saying the icebreaker could be that go to competition. It cannot be go to competition.
If
The
that's the
icebreaker.
winner.
Speech is not going to
the
competition, it's
speech
just-
the speech itself is not going to the competition. It's the person who gives the best speech. If they give the best speech, then they can go compete, and then the
From
format
the
will be
club
given to
level.
you.
Because typically on the icebreaker we don't vote automatically. He wins.
Yeah.
So the speech is different than the icebreaker.
Yes. But for this purpose, we're just going to vote on who gave the best speech, and then the person will go to the competition, and then there's going to be different speeches, informative speech, persuasive, and then you'll take it from there. So
Where is the competition?
it's going to be at the district level, is it?
I think so.
It's a district. So we're District 100, and we're just going to compete within the district. So there's going
So
to
like
be
Greater LA or
Greater LA.
Okay.
So there's Anaheim, there's Pasadena, there's El Monte. So there's different. I forget the amount of clubs, but there's about 20, 30 clubs that you're going to be competing with. So go ahead, Taffy. Want to go, Bill? You Bill?
I don't
Here we
think.
go.
When does speech start?
It's going to be December 2nd.
The next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. I'm here
No,
to
I
join.
don't think I can do it.
Okay.
Good.
Kelly, I thought you want to do it.
Join.
Okay.
Well, when you say that, okay.
Why is it happening?
Okay, I'll do
The-
my mix.
Joy?
I was supposed to give it to you.
I guess I'll do it. I'll join.
Joy?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Joy too.
Joy?
too.
Helen?
We'll just have one more.
The more the merrier.
I have one more. She's already there. One more.
I was thinking I've expanded my icebreaker, but if the icebreaker isn't.
Well, I know, that's what is
Can't do that,
different.
then
You can do any speech
You
you
can
want.
do any speech you want.
You don't have to call it your icebreaker.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can
You
call
can do
it,
any
you could just-
speech.
It could be about your life story.
Yeah, it could be. So we don't call it icebreaker, we just call it speech.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll do it.
All right. So we have
You can
we have 5. So it's going to be Taffy, Helen Yang, myself, Joy, and Kelly. Does that sound fine?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's going to be the list for December 2nd, and we'll take it from there.
And we're not gonna have an evaluator, I'm